What would you do if you were a middle school student and you were sent on a mission that could kill you, and then you also meet another middle school student who tries to kill you? We're going to talk about all that and more on today's review of recommendations from Mr. Iwamoto, aka Recommendations from Iwamoto-Senpai, Episode 2. What is up? Welcome back. Welcome here. My name is Mark, and today, if you want to see the reaction to the newest episode of Recommendation from Iwamoto-Senpai, check out our reaction in the description down below. And while you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ding the notification bell. Comment down below, engage with the video, because if you engage with the video, that tells me people like my reviews of this show. But again, check out our reaction down below. Go check it out. Come back here for the review. Make sure you watch both, though. It's very important. But yeah, if you're new here, strap in. If you've been here before, you know what to do. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, grab your notebooks, because I took a lot of notes as always, and let's talk about the episode. So, this episode starts out with Iwamoto going to on another mission. This time his mission is to investigate a certain shrine's prayer. And the principal, I assume principal, I'm actually not sure at this point. Kijutsu? I don't remember how to pronounce the name. Warns him to have a high level of caution, which that's never something good you want to hear when someone of presumably their power and caliber says that. That's not something you want to hear per se. But at the same time, they also say that Iwamoto has to work with his predecessor and that try to get along and that he might learn something. And so we immediately meet the predecessor in a bar surrounded by girls and he's apparently researching. But the first thing I noticed was his eyes are interesting, and his personality is carefree. And I initially wrote friendly because he seemed kind of friendly. Sure, carefree, but friendly nonetheless. Boy, was I gonna be wrong. But first off, his name is Haramachi Kai. And so, they're traveling now, because originally, they tried to, the bar tried to get them to drink, but Iwamoto spilled the beans. They're actually in middle school, and that got them kicked out, which it should have. I'm not surprised. And so they're traveling together. Haramachi claims that was for research purposes, and I'm calling BS at the moment. But anyways, they arrive at what the shrine is, which is a bunch of bond-severing sickles. And basically, this bond-severing sickles work, it's make a wish and you never see someone again. And apparently, Haramachi was actually researching at the bar, because the girls that he was talking to, they went to the tree to used to come there to make sure they'd never see abusive customers again, which valid. That's a valid reason to go there. Unfortunately, it probably killed them in the process, but at the same time, oh well, they were abusive. And but at some point they were somehow banned from the sickle tree. I call it the sickle tree because it was a giant tree with sickles stabbed into it, man. And Iwamoto's like, yo, let's go talk to the head priest. Where is he? Haramachi's like, there is no head priest. Then the previous head priest, that's what Iwamoto says, but then again, no previous head priest. Apparently, no one knows who's in charge. And all Haramachi's research has turned up is that the place has been there for a very long time. And I wrote down, that's kind of creepy if you think about it, man. And what proceeds is a steep decline, a steep drop into my respect for Haramachi. In that Haramachi ends up using Iwamoto as bait and wrote his name on a sickle. And I wrote down that he is both reckless and insane, because he is. And unfortunately, that's not it. It tries to kill him. Doesn't kill him yet. But as they're about to like shake hands, as Haramachi's like, yo, you want some help? And he helps him up. He takes his hand, but then a creature appears surrounding us, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna cut your arm off, and tries to sickle the arm. And yeah, that was kind of creepy, I wrote down. because something tried to literally sever their bond when he tried to take Haramachi's hand. And that's like never a good thing, bro, if you think about it that way. Meanwhile, I then had made the what's the word? Observation that Haramachi is kind of like a wild yet kind of adorable mad scientist. Like, he looks adorable, but at the same time, he's a wild mad scientist. And Iwamoto tries to leave, but unfortunately, as we come to learn, the bond severing follows you even outside of town. Like, what the fuck, man? I mean, I get it, because that's like a big thing, a bond. But at the same time, it's so unfortunate, man. Apparently someone even went mad from this, so that's gotta suck, man. And so, Haramachi believes a human is behind this. And I mean, fair enough. A human was behind what happened last episode, so that's the least surprising thing. And, but before anything can happen, Iwamoto notices something. Then he proceeds to punch Haramachi, and he's now pissed, bro. And we've never seen him this pissed before. In episode 1, we didn't really see him angry, but this time, he was angry. Granted, it didn't change too much on his face, but you could tell, especially with that punch, man. Oof, that was a punch. And Haramachi's like, you figured it out, haven't you? And I'll be the first to admit, I didn't figure it out the first time. I didn't figure it out at all, actually, until I learned that Haramachi doesn't have powers. Because Iwamoto's has been wondering what this whole time, what Haramachi's power is, why hasn't he used it, has he already used it? I made the assumption that either he doesn't have powers, or that, like, his powers were, like, already in use and we just can't see them. Turns out I was right, I called it. This is the second time in a row I managed to call the fact that something was gonna happen. And turns out he doesn't have powers. And he doesn't want to let anyone claim that he's incapable of doing this. Because what I didn't mention, because it was a small thing in the grand scheme of things, but he was a predecessor of Iwamoto. And he also was a second year in middle school who tried to go for the chief secretary position, which is what Iwamoto's in right now. And so he didn't win, but Iwamoto did. And so there's that. He believes that even though he doesn't have powers, he's still smart. His ability, in his words, is being able to figure things out, find things. And I wrote down, genuinely, he unironically reminds me of Rampo from Bungo Stray Dogs. If you've seen the show, you know exactly what I mean and who I mean. Look at Rampo and look at Haramachi and tell me they are not practically identical, except one's just slightly more reckless than the other. And so Iwamoto has an idea. He walks up to the tree. I kid you not. He walks up to the tree and he just starts yanking out the sickles, which on the surface, nothing wrong with that. It was going fine. It was fine enough. But you want to know where things got really not fine? The tree started bleeding, bro. It started bleeding. You aren't supposed to pull something out of a tree and blood shoots out. But he kept going. More and more blood. The tree's fucking bleeding, man. And so we get to see why it's bleeding. Turns out there's a powerful corpse in there. A powerful corpse. A human corpse with a powerful ability who winds up in the tree. And it was a girl. And it seems that because Haramachi couldn't find anything out, Iwamoto put everything together and said that her death was covered up. That's why Haramachi's research couldn't find anything. And then we get to see a really fucked up scene about how, basically, without saying it completely, it was presumed that she was tortured and just, like, forced to bleed in an effort to have her powers be used by them. And so she eventually was just held prisoner, and it just happened, man. Eventually, though, they put her to rest. They burned I don't know if they burned the corpse, actually, but they put her to rest. Iwamoto prays And it's a bittersweet ending, man. Cause like as Iwamoto says, even after death, she's still at the mercy of others, and that's kind of fucked if you think about it, man. You imagine you're her, and your power, you have to bleed in order to make wishes come true, and people use your power while you're alive, but then then you die and you're actually at peace. You believe you're at peace, but then you somehow learn that your body and blood are still being used after death. That's fucked, man, honestly. And so, all that said and done, as they're about to go their separate ways, Iwamoto praises Haramachi, and Haramachi goes wide-eyed and like he didn't expect to be praised like that, man. And that was sweet. That was actually really, really adorable, man. And now, the rest of the episode is excerpts from Haramachi's research. We also got a moment of Kitsujo-sensei, though, is hounded by the higher-ups about wasting funding on occult nonsense. And when they need ready-to-use and deploy gifted men. And I wrote down politics is annoying because, like, these are like the stereotypical... They're like the meatheads, essentially. Like, they're the rough and tumble frontline people. They don't have the knack for, like, the secret, more, like, refined stuff. And, from Haramachi's research, we get to follow him for a few minutes, actually. And one of the things we get to see first is some training being overseen by Hatoyanagi sensei. And bro, he's intense, but also he looks like someone who would train these kind of people, like the meatheads, the muscleheads, the jarheads, for like combat in the front lines and stuff. He looks like he would. Like you can't find someone that looks more like someone who would train frontline soldiers than this guy. It's just really funny to me. And so meanwhile, Haramachi sees pink-haired guy from last episode, who is, what's his name? Aonuma. Aonuma. He sees Aonuma out and about, walking around, talking to a fellow student. And so Haramachi's like, yo, I'm gonna go see Yajima-senpai from the sixth research lab. And he basically says that they have, through research, have figured out how his power works. And it's basically like a skin, like butterfly shedding scales. And honestly, I didn't quite follow everything, but what I did follow is that Aonuma is now able to presumably talk to people and interact with people, and I'm just happy for him, man. He doesn't have to be isolated anymore for right now. I'm just really happy for him, man. And next up, Haramachi comments after Yajima-senpai says that Haramachi comments on the fact that the upperclassmen in the research tower seem receptive to people with powers, which it makes sense if you think about research and like working in a lab and stuff like that. It makes sense that they'd be receptive to the idea of people with powers, man. And so I'm not surprised. And then the rest of the episode is Haramachi following Iwamoto, catches up to him, because Iwamoto is going to be a really nice guy and go check in on some of the younger students. And Haramachi wants to go with him, but Iwamoto's like, nah, you have, everyone has their own way to, like, you have to be prepared to interact with them and stuff. But Haramachi doesn't care, and he says that he has orders from Kitsujo-sensei to research all their powers. I don't know if I believe him, but Iwamoto just goes along with it. And so the first thing we do is meet Sasami right out there. Iwamoto had pulled up an umbrella because Sasami is a rain man. Bro, just straight up, wherever Sasami goes, it rains. And so that was cool. We get to see characters from the opening, which is really cool to me. And so meanwhile, moving in to where everyone else is, turns out this is a place called the Quarantine Facility, because there's three places. There's like 3 groups. There's the research tower, which is where Yajima-senpai and all of them were. There's the frontline brigade, which are like they're like the front lines, the soldiers that we saw getting trained by Yanagi sensei. We got to see that. Then there's the quarantine facility, which is where undefined students with powers are sent to. And so we get to see a few different characters. Namely, the next one we get to see is Awadama-kun. Aradama-kun. He has dolls that he plays with, plays with and hangs out with in the corner over there. And he seems like a nice guy, man. Sure, he plays with dolls, but so if they help him, cool. If that's how he copes, good for him. I'm happy for him, man. And so he asks, he sees Haramachi, and he's like, "You want to play with us? They'll be happy because you're a friend of Iwamoto." And unfortunately, for Haramachi, he doesn't want to. And unfortunately for Awadama-kun, Haramachi doesn't want to. And so then another person tries to like prank him, or successfully does prank him by saying like catch, and starts to send water at him. But before the water splashes anywhere, the guy controls it, and he's like, "Yo, gotcha, man." And it's funny. And Haramachi, basically, his takeaway is that this facility is very peaceful. And that's how the episode ends, or so you think. Because instead of it ending with it just being nice and peaceful, no, we can't have that. Haramachi is like, until that peace was disrupted by a massive cocoon appearing with a bunch of objects, including the dolls of Awadama-kun. And that's how they end the episode, man. And like, Jesus Christ, bro. I love this episode. It was really good. I recommend you check out the reaction for my full reaction and thoughts to it, because I did skip around a lot. But like, overall, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I hope you did as well. And let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on my review, my recap, and my reaction if you saw it on Patreon. Also comment down over there as well on Patreon. And yeah, engage with the video as always. Like it, subscribe, comment down below. Watch the video to its entirety if you can, because I look at all the stats for if something's doing well or not. If it gets like good view duration, yeah. Likes, hell yeah. Comments, definitely hell yeah. And yeah, that tells me if people want to see this stuff. If they don't, then I won't cover it here on YouTube, but I will continue to react to it on Patreon if I end up taking this off YouTube, but I hope I don't. So, with that said, as again, like and subscribe, the notification bell, and until next time, my name's Mark. Never stop being yourself, stay safe out there, and we'll see all you incredible people in the next video.